What in the world is happening with King County real estate? You're looking at the supply and demand graph for King County last 5 years. I say it's supply and demand because what you're looking at is the green are the number of listings that came on the market any given month. Okay. The new listings, the number of people that decided, hey, I'll sell my house. And the blue are the homes that went under contract. People said, I'll buy that house in any given month. So supply, new inventory, demand, number ones that sold. Madness. Look at the green in June of 2023, right here. 2,500 homes sold, 2,500 homes available, came to market, 2,500 homes. You don't see that in June anywhere. I mean, last year, June, we were at 3,800 homes. That's a 35% reduction in the available homes. Now, it makes sense because almost everybody who owns a home refinanced over the last 2 years. And so they're below 3% interest, which means they're moving from under 3% interest to a 6.5%, 7% interest rate. Isn't that attractive? So people just are not selling their home. Why would they, right? Unless they need to move. So you've got some people that need to move, but that's 35% less people doing that. That's that people not doing it. And June is usually the peak. These are all pretty much May, June, July, right? Last 5 years. So you've seen the peak. Very little reason to think you're going to see more inventory coming up this year. And the buyers, this is the demand, 1,900 in June of this year and 1,900 last year and a little bit more the year before because there was more inventory and the interest rates were cheaper. Interest rates are cheaper. This is a really interesting phenomenon because this delta between available and demand, supply and demand is roughly the same. It's just you now have a 6.5%, 7% interest rate, which caps the price. People can't afford to go $100,000 over asking anymore. So what this winds up meaning for buyers and sellers in our market in King County is if you're selling your home, you should have zero problem doing it. There's no competition. No one else is selling your home. If you're moving out of state, you should be able to do that without a problem, right? But you can't expect to get the number and the size of the bidding wars that we used to have a few years ago. You'll get 4 or 5 offers, but they'll be in a much tighter range to the sale price than they used to be. A couple of years ago, 2.5%, 3% interest. People were like, free money. Let's just bid it up. Most of our listings have sold within a week and with a very tight range. So 3, 4, 5, 6% over asking. You're not getting the 10, 12, 15% over asking that you used to. So if you're selling and you price it like it's 2023, meaning buyers have a cap, you'll get multiple offers and you'll sell it quickly. If you price it like it's 2021, you won't. You'll sit on the market because people can't afford that. They're not going to. You're just going to sit. And you'll have to reduce your price or pay their closing cost or buy down their interest rate or something. That's this graph. That's what this graph is telling us. And if you're buying, you want to find those people that priced it like it was 2021. You want to go out there and look for people because you can. I have had multiple buyers, multiple clients buy homes under asking price with seller paid concession, even in this kind of a market because the sellers were unrealistic with their sale price. And they're selling because they need to move. People aren't selling because they just want to move up. They're moving out, really, because you're not trading a 3% interest rate for a 7% interest rate unless you have to. Okay, so it's a good opportunity for both sellers and buyers in this market. It's crazy that we've had a 35% drop in available inventory and we're already at the peak of inventory for the year, predictably. So if you're in the position to buy or sell and you have questions about your situation, what your home is worth, what you should do to fix it up, what you should do to get the most money, or you're looking to buy and you want to know where the bargains are, where you can get some leeway, where you have some flexibility with a seller, let me know. That's what I'm here for. My name is Aaron Hendon. I'm with Christine & Company at eXp Realty. Make sure you share this, like it, subscribe, do all that good stuff, and I will talk to you next month. Party on, Wayne. What in the world is happening with Kitsap real estate? Well, it is shocking. It's It's shocking. I don't know what else to say about it. What you're looking at is the supply and demand graph. Last 5 years for Kitsap County. The green is the supply, the number of people that said, hey, I'll sell my house this month. New listings every month. Blue is the demand. How many people said, oh, I'll buy a house this month? That's the demand. Did I say the first one was demand? I forget. That's the demand is the number of people that bought a house. Supply is the number of people that put their house on the market. I should know this. I do this every day. Now, part of it is shocking because it's just compared to last year, but part of it is if you've been tracking and you saw the other updates, King County, Pierce County, this is the same. All right. And it's not even radically different than last month. It's just so much different than last year. And given June and July is generally the peak of inventory, you can see across the board last 5 years, those peaks are all June, July timeframes. And we're 30% down in inventory, which makes sense because who's selling their property to go from 3% to 6% interest or 3% to 7%? And so there's just a massive drop in the number of people willing to sell. So the people that are selling need to sell for some reason, which is keeping prices strong, high, right? Now, there's a little bit of a dip overall because interest rates lower the affordability of housing, which was, in fact, the design of raising the interest rates, playing with the interest rates, lowering them to make it more people spend money, raise the interest rates to make it harder to spend money, deal with inflation. But what you're dealing with here is a massive shortage of inventory. And the delta between supply and demand was the important thing. So if you're selling, this delta, the number of available to the number of sold, isn't radically different. I mean, this is the pandemic, but this is June. Where's June of 2019? Come on, buddy. It's in here. It's about the same number of buyers. It's roughly the same number of buyers. This is, come on. Why are you doing this? 356. There were, 10% more buyers here, but not a ton. And given the delta between the available to the demand, the supply to demand, it's actually a little bit closer now. Meaning, if you price your home right, if you're selling a home and you price it right, you'll get multiple offers and they'll go over asking. They won't go the 10, 12, 15% over asking they used to, but they will go 3, 4, 5% over asking pretty predictably if you priced it intelligently, like it's 2023 and like buyers have a 7% interest that they have to pay. You'll get multiple offers and you'll get more than and you'll avoid the fate. Frankly, let's talk about it this way. You'll avoid the fate of everyone who thinks it's 2021 and prices their home like it's this market here where they're expecting 15 offers going 100,000. Not going to happen. So if you're selling, you got to slow down, look at your neighborhood, look at what's been actually happening in your neighborhood recently. And if you're buying, you want to find those people that think it's 2021 that have been in the market for 30, 40 days because you can find them. They're there. I have bought houses this year, this last month, with concessions from the seller under asking, where we walked in and it appraised at over asking. So there's a lot of bargains available for buyers that shop carefully and have realistic expectations. And for sellers, if you also are dealing with reality, you'll get your home sold in a week. Every home that we've listed is sold in less than a week, over asking. Because if you price it right, you do all the work, you can get that to happen. Okay. Why? Because the supply and demand is as close as it's been. It's just 30% lower in terms of its peak. Now, if you have questions about your situation or what you're dealing with or anything like that, that's what I'm here for. Please let me know. I'm here to help. Aaron Hendon with Christine and Company over at eXp Realty. Make sure you share this, like it, subscribe, all that good stuff. Reach out if you need anything. I'll talk to you next month. Party on, Wayne. What in the world is happening with Pierce County real estate? You're going to want to see this. If you have a house or looking for a house, if you're looking to sell or looking to buy in Tacoma, Gig Harbor, Puyallup, anywhere in Pierce County, you need to watch this because this is craziness. Now, if you watch the King County update, it's not unlike that. It's very similar in that what you see here is a supply and demand graph for the area, for the county. Supply meaning the number of listings, number of homes that came to market any given month for the last 5 years. So how many people decided to sell their house in the last 5 years? That's supply. How many people went out and bought a house, put a house under contract that month? That's demand. That's the blue. And what you can see, a couple of things that I think are just madness to me, is there's a 35% drop in available inventory. So you've got the peak of inventory here. These are all June, pretty much. Yeah, that's August. So that was pandemic year. This here, June, 1,700 here. And this month, last month, 1,300. And this is June here, 1,800. No, it's May. So June's going to be like here. Yeah, 2,000 in June. That's usually the peak. This is the peak. And we're at the peak now. We're about 35% less homes available. Why? Because no one's going from a 3% interest rate, which everyone refinanced into during the pandemic, to a 7% interest rate just to move neighborhoods. The only people that are selling are people that have to sell. They need to get out of state, whatever they're doing. They're moving their job, their kids, whatever, downsizing, whatever. They've got some real physical life circumstances that are driving the move. But otherwise, people aren't really looking to trade houses because the interest rate gap is too large for them. It's understandable. But what that means is happening here is, and this is the peak of inventory. So unless something radical happens with interest rates, which nobody predicts right now, that there's going to be some radical drop in interest rates. Looks like this is the world that we now live in, is the 6%, 7% interest rate. You're going to keep seeing what you're seeing now, which is homes that are priced well get multiple offers. A home that's priced well right now, why? Because there's this gap here between the supply and demand is smaller than it was last year. The pandemic was a little bit weird, but it's smaller than it was pre-pandemic. So you're going to get multiple offers. You're just going to see a cap on how high over asking they go. You're not going to see $100,000 over asking anymore. You see 3% over asking, 4% over asking. Right? If you price it well and you market it well and you're ready to go, all our listings have sold, I don't know, maybe 3, 4, 5% over in about a week, because we do all the right work for that. If you're selling your house, you should have no problem doing it. If you try and price it like it's 2021, you're going to sit on the market and you're going to get bit. You're going to need to pay for concessions, lower price, do something down the road. It's a really dangerous market. Why? Because buyers can't just keep paying anything they want, or more likely they can't pay anything you want them to. So be careful with how you price it, right? And if you're buying, you want to find some of those sellers that decided it's 2021, that don't pay attention, that are just trying to get the maximum for by asking a really lot. You can get it for less. And if you can get a house for less and have them buy down your interest rates, you can wind up in a better deal than you would be at a 3% interest rate. If you have questions about that, you should ask me. I'll show you how that works. But really, if you find a house, bought a house just last week for a client, we walked in with equity. We offered a slightly under asking, and we still had equity when it appraised for more. So it's possible to get all that to happen, right? We've had sellers pay for our buyers' closing costs. You really can work this market. So there's advantages and opportunities for those buyers and sellers in this market. But this, in general, is madness, given how the drastic drop in the amount of inventory, the amount of number of deals that are happening. So if you have questions about that, if you want to know what's happening in your area with your house and your specific set of circumstances, that's what I'm here for. You should give me a call. My name's Aaron Hendon. I'm with Christine and Company at eXp Realty. Make sure you share this, like it, subscribe, do all that good social media stuff. And I will talk to you next month, if not sooner. Please reach out if you got any questions, and I'll talk to you later. Party on, Wayne. What in the world is happening with Vashon Real Estate? This is wild to me. All right. If you've been well, first of all, what are you looking at? What are you looking at? What you're looking at here is the supply and demand graph for Vashon the last 5 years. Let's just get some history. The green is the number of listings that came to market in any given month. People said, hey, I want to sell my house. And blue is the demand, the number of people that said, hey, I'll buy a house any given month for the last 5 years. Supply, demand. Okay. So a couple of things that are interesting. First of all, if you've been tracking, you watch the King County update or Pierce or Kitsap update, you can see this is actually different. Vashon, and if you live here, you know, that's sort of a point of pride. Vashon's different. All right. How's it different? Well, the peak where we're at. So the first of all, the peak on Vashon generally has last couple of years come later. The peak of supply comes later. This was August. You got to 19 last year. This was August again. You got to 23 in 2021. This is the first beginning of the pandemic. I'm not going to count that. This looks like it's earlier. Let's see. Come on. June, 22 houses. And this is also June, 29 houses. Okay. But where is this peak? Wait. We're up at 37 houses here. When is that peak? It's going to be June, July. This is generally the peak season. Okay. Regardless of whether my computer is getting it. But here's what's different about Vashon is that this number of May and 21 in May and 19 in June, first of all, that's odd that we peaked in May. It's also predictable if we get any kind of traditional season. June was really slow. We're going to get a bump up in July and August. We'll see if that happens. But that we peaked in May is unusual. That we're this close to last year is unusual in the region. Mostly we're 30% down. Here we're just a skosh off. Mostly we're 30% off in the region in terms of supply. Demand is pretty much the same, but we're looking at more supply relative to demand than any other area in the region. Now, compared to what was really happening here, there's not nearly enough supply. We're not getting these 30 houses that we were getting before the pandemic, which would be great to get 30 people to list their home in a month would be fantastic for us, but we just haven't come near that since the pandemic, since that first month of the pandemic. So what does that mean for you? Well, if you're selling and you have realistic attitude toward pricing, meaning you don't price it like it's 2019, 2020, you'll get multiple offers and you'll get your home sold in a week. Maybe two tops. Vashon, maybe a little bit slower, given people got to take a boat to get here to see it. But generally, especially if you're under median, if you're under this $700,000-$800,000 price point, it should go really quick. Okay. If you price it unrealistically, if you think you're going to take advantage of the market by jacking your price up, you're not going to get it done. People will let an overpriced house sit on Vashon. It's not a guarantee that your home's going to sell if you overprice it. And then you're going to wind up paying for it later. You're going to have to lower the price. If you have to sell, you're going to lower the price. The way any supply and demand market works. Price it like it's 2023, price it intelligently, and you should get it sold. Now, if you're buying, there's not a lot of older inventory available on the island, and because mostly people are pricing it well. So you're going to have a hard time. You're going to need to be fast. There are going to be multiple offers on any house. The further below median you get, and let's just double check what median is here. Whoops. Let's just quickly double check median price on Vashon, so I'm not talking. Let's go, buddy. Here we go. All right. Vashon Island. Median, 800,000. What did I say? Look how level that sales price is, too, by the way. That's wild. Pretty level. Now, why is it level? Because the ratio of supply demand has been pretty consistent. That green gap has been pretty consistent. That's what's determining prices. So if you're pricing it below 800, you're going to get buyers much more quickly than over, just because of the interest rates and the affordability factor. And Vashon's also harder to predict because there's so much less data. This is not really, it's very hard to get a data sufficient set to make any kind of long-term guesses about what's happening. But given the last few years, we have seen peaks of inventory later in the summer. Let's see if that happens now. Certainly the dip between May and June is unusual. And let's see if that keeps up or if July is a rebound month for us in terms of inventory. And let's watch what happens. If you're looking to buy or looking to sell on Vashon and you want some guidance about that, that's what I'm here for. I would love to help you with that. My name's Aaron Hendon. I work with Christine & Company over at eXp Realty. I'm happy to help you with any of your buying or selling questions. Let me know what I can do for you. Make sure you share this, like it, subscribe, and I will talk to you next month. Party on, Wayne.